And what is going on, Eagles Nation? It's your guy, Lindy Endzone, back again, taking the lead for the Philadelphia Eagles one video at a time because obviously they can't do that right now with the way this team is looking. Hey, if you're new to the channel, leave a like, leave a dislike, let me know how I'm doing. Comment down below, hit that subscribe if you like the content. Helps me out as an up and coming YouTuber. Just making content for the Eagles because I love talking about them. But let's get into a couple of things that I wanted to address here. I guess a little bit of opt- optimism because we can sure use it at this point. It looks like Philly Notion. Hey, your guy's back. Adrian Killens was brought back on the practice squad. AK-46, he's back in the building. We also seen earlier today the second roster move. It was around lunchtime. Michael Jaquette was brought up from the practice squad, signed on to the active roster because Lord knows we could use the cornerback help right now since Avante Maddox is not suited to be an outside corner because he's just too short. But with the defense the way it's set up right now as far as the secondary, sometimes Jim Schwartz, he just has to take what he's given. That's not to excuse the way that the defense goes out there and the soft coverage that he runs and whatnot. But it's good to see that we could possibly have in development another taller corner to partner outside with Darius Slay because we could use it at the CB2. Roby Coleman's too short. Avante Maddox is too short. I mean, heck, we could have one of the shortest cornerback rosters in all of football. It's crazy. But I guess at this point, it beats having Jalen Mills out there. I'd rather have him at safety so he's not fighting on double moves all the time. But other than what happened today, I did forget to mention, I think it was yesterday, Zach Ertz was activated on the 21-day practice window. And that's going to lead into another topic of discussion that I'm about to have. But what I want to get into first is, the Eagles always seem to be a topic of discussion when it comes to media, and we were brought up again once more on Undisputed with Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. Honestly, I know the feeling of a lot of people. They don't like those media outlets with the like FS1 and some people don't like Undisputed, First Take, speak for yourself, stuff like that. It is what it is. They want to keep it. They want to keep it to what the Philadelphia Eagles themselves give us as far as news and journalists and writers closer to the team instead of the general audience of sports analysis. But yeah, we always seem to be a topic of discussion, and the topic today was talking about how irritated Doug Pederson was on a local radio interview. He expressed that he was pissed off, and it puts the pride of the football team at he just doesn't want to lose the pride of the football team, and I don't think once he mentioned anything about talent. Okay. But then again, I'm going to take it with a grain of salt. I mean, I'm sure, Doug Pederson, just like all of us, he has feelings, and um, maybe this could be the wake up call that the team is looking for, especially when it comes to the head coach. But excuse me. Anyway, as far as the head coach goes, talking about that, and of course Orlando Scandrick was involved in the discussion with the NFC East and how the Eagles are looking. Obviously, he's relevant because he was on the team last year, and I'm not gonna bring up all of that as we had to go through at sort of the same point in the season. It's weird how close the timing of it was, but the question was asked to Orlando and Skip and Shannon, who are also on the panel, obviously, that what or they asked Orlando, in his opinion, what he ultimately thinks the problem is, and one thing that I did pay attention to was what he was talking about is that he mentioned that the quarterback the quarterback is struggling, but it's Doug Peterson's offense. I thought, whoa, mind blown. You know, um, a lot of us in the fan base, painted him as a hater, and you know, and I'm still speculating. Yeah, I'm still speculating this, but just the way that it went with Orlando last year, we're not going to really listen to anything he says because he was such a hater. But that at the same time, that's kind of looking at it from the surface. And if we dig a little bit deeper into what he was talking about, there could be some truth to it in his perspective because he was in the building. But there's a lot of contradictory in that because of the mic'd up footage that we've seen in an exchange between him and Malcolm Jenkins, and really commending him for being a leader of this football team. And Malcolm is the kind of leader that the team needs, especially on the defense, and stuff like that. But back to what he was talking about, I couldn't believe that I agreed with him. He said in his opinion that the issues, it starts with the top. It starts at the top. It starts with the head coach, and that he's going to have to, that this is his football team, and at some point that he's going to have to, take this blame and just eat it, and be professional at your position. And it's your responsibility to turn this football team around. And that's not to absolve the mistakes by the players by no means. But when we go back to Carson Wentz, and Orlando brings up the fact that your quarterback is struggling, but he's struggling in your offense, and in to your perspective, you're not seeing that. You're not seeing the change that needs to happen in order for your football team to have any sense of success, because it's been so inconsistent. And I go back to last year and I really think about it, and you know this offense hasn't changed in 2 years. It hasn't changed in 2 years. If we think about it, this offense looks very similar to how it was last year. Carson being handcuffed to the pocket, rollouts being as scarce as they are, Doug too afraid to be committed to the run game, Miles Sanders having great games here and there, and then we don't see him. We don't see him ever again. And then he goes down and Boston Scott comes in and stuff like that. It's crazy to think about. But yeah, no, I can't believe that I agreed on a couple of premises that Orlando had to say as far as the Eagles go. And Shannon Sharp decided to chime in at that point, and he really wants to drive home the fact that, in his opinion, he thinks that Doug Peterson is still calling plays like this is the 2017 Eagles. Like, not exactly 2017, obviously, because we're looking at a different team every single year. Pieces change, personnel changes, etc., etc. But the whole idea of the 2017 Eagles is the fact that we didn't that the 2017 Eagles didn't suffer a lot of catastrophic injury. Yeah, Jason Peters went down, and some people were nicked up here and there, but we had almost a perfect setup. And I think winning the Super Bowl put Doug in the mindset that because I won this way, I can only call the game this way from here on out in order to be successful. And it just doesn't work that way. You're getting a new flow of players year in and year out. You got to call the game to their strengths. Your quarterback is struggling. You have the blueprint from years ago, what made him successful. The constant rollouts. keeping Carson in a rhythm now. That's how Carson develops his rhythm. You get him in the rollouts. You get him um, you don't allow him to you don't allow him to freeze up in the pocket and have to go through his progressions that way. Sure, you want Carson to be an all around. You want him to be as all around as possible, but not every quarterback is built the same. And I think that's a detriment to Doug's play calling between him having Carson under center and having Nick Foles under center. And Doug as a play caller, he has to grow out of that, especially with all these offensive minds in here. We can only speculate what they're doing, but with all these offensive assistants helping him, it doesn't seem to matter because the offense remains the same. Now, whether Doug is trying to incorporate these concepts at the wrong times or he's just not listening at all, um, I don't know. And like I said in my live stream yesterday, we got the definition of insanity is going on right now. And, I don't think that we can expect this team to change unless Doug Pederson changes. His play calling has to change. His situational football has to change. The way he utilizes Jalen Hurts has to change. Guys like Jalen Rager, John Hightower, Dallas Goedert. Speaking of Dallas Goedert, we talk about how Zach Ertz got his practice window activated. And I'm not gonna sit here and agree with some people that that we should have expected more out of Dallas Goedert in the Giants game and whatnot. And the only reason that it seemed that he underperformed is the fact that these defenses are going to treat Dallas Goedert like a number one tight end. They're going to treat him like a Zach Ertz. He's going to see double coverages more, and that's something that Dallas is going to eventually have to get used to, and it's going to come within time because, in my opinion, Dallas Goedert is the future of the Philadelphia Eagles. Zach had his run, and it is what it is. But it's time for change. Dallas has proved that he can be the number one tight end of this football team, and going forward, yeah, like I said, that's something that he's going to have to get used to with these double coverages and tight coverages as soon as the ball is snapped, stuff like that. I think he's um, better built physically to kind of overwhelm the guy who's covering him and still come down with the football. He's shown that. To me, he's a lot more athletic, and age has something to do with that. But at the same time, he's shown more athleticism to me at times than Zach Ertz has, even when Zach was in his prime. So I think we're set at the tight end position, and we go to the fact that it's always the tight end two spot that seems to get the attention that Carson wants the most, and it's just the fact that guys like Zach Ertz and guys like Dallas Goedert in the Giants game on Sunday, they're getting all of the attention. So if a guy like Richard Rodgers is out there is getting open, it's because that all the attention is being drawn to Goddard. And and at that point, how many times have we stressed to Carson Wentz, just take what the defense gives you, and in those points in time, he's taking what the defense is giving him and he's giving it to Richard Rodgers. There's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, so I mean, I still don't know if there's anything to look forward to that's optimistic with the rest of the season. Like I said in my live stream yesterday, it's just difficult to find the light at the end of the tunnel for this football team, unless something like I just said, if Doug Peterson's play calling has to change. And as far as the defense goes, if Doug if Doug if Jim Schwartz really needs to get off of this soft coverage idea, especially with the fact that you finally have a number one corner in Darius Slay locking down one side of the field. you don't need to play him 7 to 8 yards off of the line of scrimmage. You just don't need to. Let him get in the receiver's face. Let him make his man uncomfortable. Make the quarterback of the opposing team make him make difficult decisions. There's, this bend don't break philosophy doesn't always work, and it doesn't help the defensive line, especially when they're not getting pressure. And then you're forced in situations to try and gamble on the blitz, and when the blitz doesn't work, you just get easy pickings for the opposing quarterback. So I think I'm going to wrap it up here with talking about the Browns game coming up. The Browns are a 3.5 point favorite at home. I'm surprised that the spread is even as close as it is. Considering how much of a dumpster fire this Eagles team is right now. But thinking about it, the last thing we need to do is see the Eagles win convincingly, because that's just going to elevate the spiral of our minds, thinking like, okay, where has this been since week 1? I think that's the last time where we've even been remotely confident in this football team was the first quarter of the first game of the season against the Washington football team. So I don't know. I think we can either expect a one score loss or a 3-point win. That's the way this football team's looking right now. If they win convincingly, that's just gonna make matters worse for Eagles fans, especially just going back to it. Where has this team been? And I think if we lose convincingly, call off the division at that point. I thought the division was over after the Giants lost, but us winning the division at least. Like I said, you got Dallas getting Andy Dalton back. The football team is trying to make a push. Alex Smith is looking healthy. They got their group of quarterbacks in there, and the Giants they just look to get better and better. They've been in a lot of close games, one-score games. So I think that's going to do it for me. Just wanted to get on here and make a quick video. Obviously, it didn't work in my favor because I had a lot to discuss. It ended up being 18 minutes, but it is what it is. Like I said, thank y'all for watching. This has been Lindy End Zone for the touchdown, taking the lead for the Eagles one video at a time. I'll catch y'all in the next one.